It is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. That is one of our favorite singers, Jeff Scott Soto, who will be out at our Heavy Metal Induction Awards this coming Wednesday, along with the Band versus Brand screening.
Have you met Jeff before?
I have not met Jeff before.
He's a good dude, man.
I have spoken with him, obviously, but I've never, met him in person.
Yeah, he's a really, really nice cat and funny. He's if you talk to him for 5 minutes, you will do some laughing because he's a funny fucker.
Yeah. Well, that one goes out to our good friend Serena.
Okay.
She wrote a very direct email to us.
It said, Neeley, play some fucking Soto!
Well, sort of. Hey, guys. I'm at work, and I'm on a break. Since the NAMM this year will be all testosterone, I wanted to dedicate this song to all the guys that have ever dealt with an evil woman, also known as a cunt. That's her words.
Well, she's got a way of putting things.
I guess guys need their time alone, and I get it. I'll be happy to see Bob. No one is doing what you are doing for the metalheads. Toby, Neeley, his nephew, all on Wednesday night. Band versus Brand is the highlight of the night among Jeff Scott Soto's well-deserved recognition.
Yeah.
So there you are.
Well, did I tell you that I spoke to Bob this week?
I did not hear that you had spoke with Bob.
Bob and I had a nice 30, 40-minute phone call, actually.
Very good.
Talking to him about, I had heard something about Marty Friedman, and I wanted to verify it before bringing it to the interview, and then I didn't even bring it to the interview, but but I had actually heard that Bob was the guy that got Marty his audition with Megadeth.
Very nice.
And sure as shit, Bob was the guy that got Marty his audition with Megadeth.
Well, Bob is a player.
Yeah. And then he told me, and I didn't know this at all, he told me that Marty was the runner-up for the Ozzy gig that Zakk Wylde got.
Is that right?
He went and tried out for Ozzy, but he didn't get it, not because of his playing, but because he was too short, and they were trying to make a move that didn't look like Jake. And Jake was, Jake's a shorter guy with curly hair at the time.
Okay.
And so was Marty, so they didn't want the clone, and that's why they went with Zakk.
I gotcha.
I'm sure there's probably more to it than that, but I mean, wow, that's a tough call. Who do you think is the better guitar player, Marty Friedman or Zakk Wylde?
Marty.
Yeah, I kind of think so too. Not by a lot.
No, but I think Marty is more technical.
Yeah. I don't know that Marty would have fit. I'm sure Marty could play anything. He obviously played at Megadeth, but do you think Marty would have fit the Ozzy mold?
No, I don't see Marty Friedman as an Ozzy guy.
Yeah, but maybe that's just because we never did see it either.
Well, that's true, but we did see Marty playing with Megadeth, and he just doesn't seem like the Ozzy shredder. Yeah.
Well, it's an interesting, I guess, the world will never know moment, but
right.
I would have loved to see. I'd love to see the audition tape of that. That would be pretty cool. See Marty playing whatever, Crazy Train or whatever.
Well, do you think George Lynch was Ozzy material?
Nah. I think George would have been better than Marty, but I don't. I don't know. George would have trouble squeezing it in between his other 34 bands.
Yeah, but I'm talking back in the day.
He could have been. Musically, he was in the same sort of sound.
Sure.
It's weird because all of Ozzy's guitar players have been gifted. But I don't know. I don't know that Ozzy would have been able to put up with George. Do you think he would have been?
No, of course not.
I think that would have been the problem there. I think from just a playing standpoint, George certainly could have fit in there. I don't think George would have been happy there very long, though, because he wouldn't have been given the freedom to just stretch out and do what he does. Why was did George try out?
Yeah, George was trying out for Ozzy.
When Dokken was already famous?
No, not that. Or it was like he was trying out for Ozzy at the same time that he was going to play for Dokken.
So when Randy died?
Yes.
Okay. So he would have been the Brad Gillis.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think George could have done that, sure. And I don't think it would have sucked. I think it would have been okay. Don't you? Musically.
Well, no, I think musically it'd been fine, but I'm just kind of thinking image-wise.
Yeah, because George did have that big... But, I mean, that would have been... What albums would that have been? That would have been...
Well, that would have been right after... That would have been like... somewhere in that area, yeah.
Yeah, so Ultimate... Yeah, I think George would have been bored playing that stuff, but I know it seems like Jake was sort of bored playing that stuff. You know, because that stuff was fairly simplistic. But
back then, though... Jake kind of was flashy.
Mm-hmm.
The way that he moved around the stage, and he was just kind of a flashy guy and full of energy and stuff.
Yeah. Where now he's taking the let's just stand around, smoke a cigarette, and jam approach.
Yeah, he looks like a homeless dude now. I mean, he does.
He does, but he can play.
Yeah, well, that's not trying to take anything away from his abilities, but yeah, he just sort of has that homeless, bummy look about him.
Bummy?
Bummy. He does.
All right. Well, I can't say that he doesn't.
He's all disheveled looking, and
yeah,
you know,
like Eddie Van Halen used to do there in the middle in the drug years.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Sort of in that same vein. Had never thought of it really, but okay. Yeah, I'm just happy Jake's out there playing. To be honest, after 50 years away or whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, he became kind of a recluse.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad he's out there doing the Red Dragon Cartel. And I love Patina. That's a good record, man. Strong. Oh well, I guess we'll never know if George Lynch would have been the madman's accomplice.
True.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've been inundated with just killing everything that used to be fun.
Okay.
And one of the things that have been kind of a hot button topic just in recent months, or at least within the last year, is killing comedy because they're not safe or politically correct, or they're irreverent.
Hurtful. Yeah, the room is hurtful.
You know, but it's comedy.
Of course.
I mean, you know, let's go back to probably one of the greatest comics of all time, at least in my opinion, Sam Kinison.
Yeah.
Sam Kinison was the loudest, most boisterous, most irreverent, funniest sons of bitches that ever walked the stage, in my opinion.
Yeah, he was great.
He was the funniest guy. I'm glad I got to see him. I'm glad I was at the final taping of his last HBO special at the Wiltern Theater in L.A. And he was dead a year later. And I went to see that, and it was just like Sam Kinison, because I saw his original HBO comedy in 1986, which even to this day is still funny as fuck. And all of his comedy things are up on Netflix right now.
Okay.
So, if you missed any of his comedy specials, they're all available on Netflix right now. I noticed that they put them all up there.
For now. Might want to find a way to bootleg them and keep them in your private collection before they're banned.
So, anyway, I was thinking, How would a Sam Kinison survive in today's climate?
Oh, he would be done.
Yeah.
He would be just his attack on homosexuality would put him out. He would have no chance today.
Well, that's interesting you would bring that up.
Okay.
Because that's exactly where I was going with this.
Okay.
Have you ever watched the cartoon The Family Guy?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Family Guy is one of the most outrageous, irreverent cartoons I've ever seen next to Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, it's funny.
As well as South Park.
Mm-hmm.
South Park's really funny. They're on point a lot of the time. These are adult cartoons. I don't care if they're cartoons. They're adult cartoons.
Family Guy is what? Seth MacFarlane?
Yes.
Yeah, and same with that American Dad?
Yes. Same spin-off from that. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, a couple of weeks ago, Kevin Hart got booted from hosting the
Golden Globes
or whatever, yeah, because God forbid he made some tweet a decade ago that had some homosexual references to it.
How dare he?
You know, so everything is just hypersensitive. Hypersensitive. And then, of course, Louis C.K., he,
right.
He fell out of the limelight because, God forbid, he whipped his dick out in front of some people in a dressing room in a private situation.
Right.
You know, now he's on this comeback and, you know, some of his material that he's working up that hasn't really been officially released or he hasn't really done it in an official capacity. Mm-hmm. He was at a private show working up some material.
Yeah, he just did a spot at the Cellar. That's what he did, right?
Yeah, he was working on new material, just
right.
Seeing how it worked. Mm-hmm. And of course, somebody had to leak it. And then it was just like, oh my God, he made some Parkland shooting joke.
Yeah, ooh, horrors. David Hogg, where are you to protect me?
Yeah. That's what comedy is.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, the mainstream cartoon that has always been irreverent, which is what made it popular because it was kind of shocking, I guess, was the Family Guy.
Yeah.
So Family Guy is known for its politically incorrect humor, but now the team behind the show are making some changes.
Oh, are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious.
Jesus Christ.
Fans of the animated comedy series are used to its often distasteful humor.
Often distasteful humor.
Yeah.
That's how we're positioning that show?
Yeah.
Okay.
One character, Joe, is in a wheelchair and the subject of many of the show's disabled jokes.
Yeah.
Well, you can't do that today.
Oh, you can't make any disabled jokes?
No, he's not disabled. He's handy-capable.
Right. Let me see how capable he is of getting up and dancing.
Right. Another, Quagmire, is used as a platform for the many references to rape or sexual harassment.
Yeah, he's a
he's a perv. Yeah, he's a perv.
Mm-hmm.
And during the show's 17-season run,
17 seasons, but now it's a problem.
Yeah, now it's a problem.
That's right.
Wasn't a problem 17 seasons ago, but now it's a problem.
Of course it is.
Stewie, the Griffin's family baby, has been hit with quips about being gay. But it appears that the jokes targeted at the LGBT community are on their way out.
Oh, well, that's good. We got to protect.
Right.
Got to protect them. Of course.
In Sunday's episode, Peter Green, who is voiced by the show's creator, Seth MacFarlane, was seen telling a cartoon President Trump that the show was trying to phase out the gay jokes.
So wait a minute. They went on the show, and under the guise of being on the show, they said, well, we're going to clean up our act?
Yeah.
What a pussy. What a fucking pussy that Seth MacFarlane is.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Many children have learned their favorite Jewish, black, and gay jokes by watching your show over the years, the animated president tells Peter. Where are these kids' parents? That's not a cartoon for kids.
Yeah, that's not on PBS next to Sesame Street. It's a fucking adult show. Jesus Christ. What a pussy McFarlane is for fucking caving like this.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's why fucking South Park will always rule. Matt and Trey, they don't give a fuck. They never have. They're never going to.
Well, plus they're not on a mainstream platform either.
What isn't?
They're not on like NBC, ABC, CBS.
No, they own Comedy Central.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's them, and then what else is on Comedy Central?
I don't know. It's been literal years since I watched Comedy Central.
Yeah, but you do watch South Park whenever it hits Hulu or
of
whatever. Of
course.
Right? Or Netflix or whatever.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, South Park is great.
Yeah.
And I don't even watch cartoons. I'm not a cartoon guy.
Except for Archer.
Yeah, but even Archer, sometimes I get bored with that real fast too because it's a cartoon.
I love Archer, man. That's another funny one.
Well, you're into like a lot of those cartoons.
Yeah, BoJack Horseman. I love BoJack Horseman. That one's a funny one too.
Is F is for Family a cartoon?
That's Bill Burr.
Yeah, but it's a cartoon.
It's a cartoon. Fucking hysterical.
Is it? I haven't.
A lot of swear words in that one.
Ooh, I like that. Maybe I'll have to watch some F is for Family.
That's a good one.
Let me add that to the watch list that never ends. Yeah. No, if a parent is letting their kid watch Family Guy, that's on the parent.
I agree.
That's fucking ridiculous.
In fairness, we've been trying to phase out the gay stuff, Peter replies.
Oh,
but you know what? We're a cartoon. You're the president. The change in direction has been confirmed by the show's executive producer, Alex Sulkin and Rich Appel, who told TV Online that they want to better reflect the current climate of the show.
Gay.
Stupid.
Just terrible.
It's comedy, people.
Mm-hmm.
Sulkin said if you look at a show from 2005 or 2006 and put it side by side with a show from 2018 or 2019, they're going to have a few differences.
Yeah.
Yeah, people weren't faggots back then.
Exactly.
That's right, I used the word faggot.
What? Stop it, dude. That's hurtful.
Some of the things we felt comfortable saying and joking about back then, we now understand it's not acceptable.
So what are they going to do with Quagmire? Just write him off the show?
I guess he can't make, he can't make some kind of perverted joke anymore.
So now what's he going to be? Just the comfortable neighbor?
Yeah, he's going to be the politically correct neighbor.
Hey, buddy, want a barbecue?
Hi, guys. Hi, guys. No, I'm not looking at that sexy neighbor of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does nothing for me.
No, nothing at all. I'm not looking at your daughter anymore. What the fuck?
Appel added that the climate is different, the culture is different, and our views are different. No, they're not.
Yeah, how about this? A, you haven't changed your views at all. You're just a pussy.
Yeah.
B, if you just didn't acknowledge it, they would keep taking it as long as people are watching the show.
Right.
If the climate is so different, then how come your show is still on? Because people fucking think it's funny. You fucking idiot. How do you fucking change your own show to reflect the opposite of what you built the show on? How stupid can they fucking be?
It's like KFC messing with the formula, man.
It's like KFC not selling chicken.
Exactly. Or they don't have their secret herbs and spices anymore.
You know what? We're going to start selling fried fish now.
Right.
That's what you get at KFC, fish. Kentucky fish. Cooked.
And not even breaded.
Yeah, it's the new KFC.
Yeah. Because breading's bad for you, so we're not even breading it. It's just going to be fish fried.
Yeah. No, baked.
Baked fish.
Baked fish.
Yeah.
No seasoning at all.
The F in KFC stands for fish.
That's right. We may have made a shit ton of money fucking selling you guys fucking cholesterol and artery blockers, but now we're going to go to the political climate and sell you something that's healthy. It's KFC, all right. Kale, fish, and I don't know what's healthy that starts with a C. Corn. Kale, fish, and corn.
Right.
The new KFC.
Exactly.
Idiots.
I know.
What in the fuck is wrong with the fucking Family Guy?
Well, it's this pressure. I don't know where this pressure is coming from, but it's
Pressure?
this.
Stop it. Who is pressuring?
Well,
the
look at the story. Well, look at the story we just covered with the Roku. We buckled to the pressure to have Alex Jones' app removed. We were going to run it, but then the pressure came, and we go, "Oh, well, we're going to backtrack and change our mind now."
That's just stupid. There's no pressure on any. It's invented pressure. If people were at the studio burning cars or something, that's pressure. Somebody sending an email saying that was offensive to me.
Then don't watch the show.
So don't watch it. If enough people don't watch it, then you can fucking cancel the show.
Yeah, then the sponsors will say, your show has no ratings. We're not going to sponsor it anymore.
Yeah, but until that moment, shut the fuck up and do what you've done. Son of a bitch. Seth MacFarlane is a douche.
Yeah.
And he needs to fucking worry about that, too, because that Orville show is not very good. You know that show, The Orville?
I have not watched it, no.
It's like a spoof on Star Trek.
No, haven't seen it.
Fucking crap.
Yep. One of the defenses of the show's controversial story. See, that's the other thing. Everybody is so afraid to step outside the line now.
Mm-hmm. Don't want to shake don't want to shake that tree.
Yeah. One of the differences of the show's controversial storyline is that they make fun of all minority groups. See, they don't target one minority group. They say all minority groups.
Yeah. And they paid their penance by writing the Cleveland show.
Yeah.
And Bob's Burgers. Aren't those guys like Indian or something?
I think so.
I've never watched Bob's Burgers.
The storyline is that they make fun of all minority groups equally, and some have argued that there's no reason one particular minority group should be exempt.
They need to target more whites.
I guess.
Then there'd be nobody complaining.
Sure.
They've just made every joke about what a bunch of fucking dummies white men are, that no one would complain. Like that fucking show on CBS, The Neighbor.
Yeah, I saw the preview. I haven't watched it, but I saw the previews for it.
Nobody's complaining about that show. Why? Because they make the fucking white guy look like a fucking idiot.
Right.
So that's acceptable. Fuck you, Seth MacFarlane, you fucking bitch. What a fucking bitch.
If Family Guy is going to be mainstream and not edgy, what's the point? Asked one fan of the show on Twitter.
Bingo. Was that Chris A. from Twinsburg?
Early 2000s Family Guy was funny because it pushed the boundaries.
Right.
And some in the LGBT community argued the show does not offend them.
Why would it?
I'm gay. My boyfriend and I watch Family Guy, and we laugh at the gay jokes as much as we laugh at any of the jokes.
Yeah, but see, they're misguided.
Yeah.
They're not following the collective.
Right. I never felt that the gay jokes were at Stewie's expense, but rather an evolution of the character. It seems like the more queer he became, the less evil he was.
Oh, okay.
However, some people think Family Guy is in need of a change, including Nick Duffy, the current affairs editor of Pink News.
Pink News is
Pink News, who says it's here's one word I hate when this is used this way. Okay. Who says it's important to reflect a more modern view of homosexuality in the show.
It's important?
It's important.
Well, then I got to side with him, Neeley, because if that came out as a headline on Pink News, I think we should be listening.
You're probably right.
Pink News.
Yep. Family Guy has been very much reliant on stereotypes of predatory gay men, he tells the BBC News. And it's not just gay people specifically, but before Caitlyn Jenner came out as a transgender, they made heavy quips about her gender identity, which they've been criticized for.
Yeah, I wonder if real people have made those jokes too.
Yeah.
Like real people that don't fucking buy into the crazy.
Yeah. At the time she was in the closet, and since she came out, they've not apologized, although they seem to have moved past it.
Why would they apologize? Creepy guy wants to be a chick. Okay. We're going to tease that.
Can't do that. Hail and kill caller, you're on the air.
Hey, gentlemen. This is Doug from Antifa Haven yet again, making one last pit stop. Just very, very sad. I mean, I heard about the whole, Sesame Farm Family Guy, not making gay jokes anymore thing a few days ago, and I was very surprised because he was on that Bill Maher show like a year or two ago, saying he's very pro-gay and all that, LGBTQI. I don't know the fucking variables anymore. but anyway, I was very, very disturbed by that. But, you see this whole, cracking down on, offensive and outrageous and shocking, behavior and jokes. And one thing I've been listening to you guys almost the entire show is, have you guys talked about the Gillette ad?
No, we haven't talked about that. If we have time, I'll throw that in near the end of the show.
Yeah. But anyway, it's just, you see shit like the Seth MacFarlane cracking down. And again, Chris, you're totally right. That's why South Park will always be phenomenal compared to the Family Guys, because, they do not pull any punches. They're not going to, they're not going to shy away from anything, especially, 10 years ago when, the whole, what was it, the Jeopardy thing where one of the characters' dad went on Jeopardy.
Yeah, he said nigger. He goes,
naggers.
Yeah, and he says something your neighbors do.
No, people who annoy you.
Yeah, people who
annoy you. What is that? People who annoy you. N.GTERS. Niggers. That's, I don't know. But, when you see the Family Guy won't even make a gay joke anymore, but South Park, made that joke. I mean, mind you, it was 10 years ago, but yeah, South Park will always rule, but, I don't know. Between the Gillette ad and there's actually a company that responded to that ad. It's it's called, just 1 second here.
Harry's Razors?
Edgar's Watches or whatever. They made an ad a few days ago. And it has almost 1 million views, and it has 77 likes on YouTube and 1.3 dislikes. And the Gillette ad has 1.1 million dislikes and 650 likes. So you can see kind of how when it comes to just this PC, uber leftist, but mainly PC garbage, people aren't liking it. And I'm curious to see where this whole Family Guy is going to go with being this whole self-righteous, we won't make gay jokes anymore because, fuck them. But anyway, I'm done again. But hell and kill, metal up your ass, fuck you, pal, and hand job.
I'll tell you where it's going to go. It's going to get canceled.
It will, because the ratings are going to fall. People are going to go, fuck this. This isn't funny anymore.
But they won't claim that. What they'll claim is that Seth had to stop it because he's so busy with the Orville.
Yeah, of course.
That's how they'll claim it. But it'll get canceled because nobody's going to watch that.
Yeah, people go, it used to be funny. It's not so funny anymore.
Yeah, no one wants to watch a sterile version of a cartoon.
Nope.
Fuck that. And you know what? The die has been cast too far now between South Park, between all the ones that we just mentioned, Archer and F is for Family and BoJack Horseman and all that stuff. If you come in tame, you're going to get fucking mowed over.
Of course.
That's not what people want from their fucking dirty cartoons.
Yeah, that's the only reason I watch it, because it's irreverent and it's funny and it's just holy shit, those guys are. But if it was just really tame and whatever, it's that's boring.
Well, see you later, Family Guy. You're out.
Yeah, click.
Yeah, Eve, whatever his name is, Ed Vaker in the in the chat room hit it right. It'll turn into the Connors. Bingo.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it'll be.
Yeah, done.
Just done. One and done. Stupid ass shit.
Duffy says the reason comedy shows often miss the mark is because they portray a straight white male's experience of comedy. Just look at Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live's been going on for, 40-some years?
Gee, how did Eddie Murphy make it out of there?
Really? But he adds, we are seeing more diverse, I hate that word too, narratives of LGBT experiences and comedy and new storylines coming through, like Hannah Gadsby show, Nanette on Netflix.
Nanette on Netflix?
Yeah, I guess that's a show, Nanette, Nanette.
That's the one that fucking was doing the quote-unquote comedy show and talked about getting raped or some shit.
I have no
idea. It wasn't funny at all.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, no one watches that shit. I got a newsflash for all these fucking people. No one is watching that shit. Nobody is watching that shit to find it funny. You know, dude, what do you look for when you look for something funny? You look for something that's edgy and fucking has some shock value.
Of course. It, no? You know, that's where that whole stereotypical or overplayed saying goes, oh man, that's so wrong.
Yeah. It's just they're just gonna wreck their own fucking industry. Bunch of fucking tards. Yeah, no, I'm not supposed to say tards.
Yeah, whatever. It says something about the world those shows inhabit, and it's now changing, so it looks like shows like Family Guy are becoming more inclusive.
Well, that's nice.
But I hope that's also happening behind the scenes, too. You just want everything sterile.
Well, guess what? It's not being included into my fucking watching, that's for sure.
Daily Mail writer Jacques Peterson, who writes about the pop culture and entertainment, says that the Family Guy misses the mark when it comes to comedic value altogether. What are you talking about? This thing's been around 17 years.
Very unfunny for all of those years, Neely. Very unfunny.
Unfunny. I'm gay, and I don't have any problem with Family Guy or anyone else telling gay jokes as long as they're funny. But Family Guy just isn't funny. Yes, it is.
Look, not everything is funny to every person.
Yeah.
But 17 years of millions of people watching it, it is funny. You have no sense of humor.
Yeah. It's just not funny. I just don't get it.
At least you don't have that sense of humor.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of us that think that that's a funny show.
It was a funny show.
Yeah, not anymore.
It's just a bunch of pop culture references and random stuff thrown together. That's what's the genius about it. If you're adept to pop culture and history and you watch The Family Guy and they reach back to the 1980s and say pull a reference out of, say, like Pretty in Pink or Ferris Bueller's Day Off, you're going, holy shit, that was genius. Who remembered that one line in that movie?
That's right.
You know, that's what's so fucking funny about that show.
Yeah, no kidding. Doug in the chat room, 12 million tards were killed because Chris made a tard joke. Fact.
The show doesn't even push the envelope far enough to warrant a few laughs for the shock value. What are you talking about?
Does this guy, was he watching a different show?
He must have been watching something different.
He must have been watching that old show Family with fucking Christy McNichol from the fucking 70s.
Right.
Come on.
With Meredith Baxter Birney.
Yeah.
Yeah, pal.
That's the Family he was watching.
Sure. He disagrees with the idea that adding diverse writers to the mix would improve Family Guy's gay jokes, and says a good joke is a good joke regardless of who wrote it. Okay,
How would this guy know? If he thinks that 17 years of Family Guy and they've not been funny, he doesn't know comedy or jokes.
I agree.
Idiot.
Personally, I think it's rubbish to say that gay jokes have to be written by gay people.
Well, I agree with that line.
Does that mean gay people can't write jokes about straight people, he asks? If we could only write about people who are exactly like us, the world would be a very boring place. I'm a writer, and I'm going to write about anything and anybody I want to, and I hope other writers do the same. All right. I can't argue with that.
I was going to say, I half agree with him and half don't.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that he could honestly, maybe that was his joke, that Family Guy was never funny. Because 17 years that show's been on. You cannot say that a comedy show that is clearly a comedy show that has lasted for damn near 20 years. It's got to be in the top 10 longest running shows in the history of syndication.
Yeah, it's right up there next to The Simpsons.
Yeah, and like in network television, 17 years is an unfathomable amount of years. And you can't say that a comedy show lasted that long on the back of not being funny or good. What kind of fucking logic is that?
Yeah.
It's dumb.
Yeah. Well, our good friend Razor Fist has about a 5-minute rant about how political correctness is killing comedy.
Okay.
And I think he's pretty spot on with his assessment.
All right.
I got to hand it to Razor Fist. His rants are just amazing.
Phil, that is not Michelle Obama. Just come on, Phil.
Hail and Kill caller, you're on the air.
Hail and Kill, boys. This is Jackal.
Hey, what's up, Jackal?
I only got one question with all this shit about these shows. They're all bitching and canceling stuff. How come they can still play or run reruns of All in the Family? I mean, Archie Bunker called them fags and spooks and spades and all this shit.
Hey, watch your language. This is a family program.
Wait, hold on a minute. Jackal, where are you watching these reruns? What channel?
They're on, like, Me TV or what's the other one? Antenna TV.
Okay.
I mean, and they've been airing them for years. I just don't understand how this shit is still on with, like that shit with Roseanne and the fucking, now it's the Connors. It's like, fuck, they still run reruns of Archie Bunker, for God's sake.
Well, that was back when people didn't know any better, and we're a advanced society to know what a bigot and a hateful racist that Archie Bunker was. So they only run that for historical purposes to teach us a lesson as to where we went wrong.
Okay, now I got it.
Don't you think that it's also a little bit under the radar because it's not on one of the major networks?
Well, I don't think it's been on any of the major ones for, quite a few years, but fuck, that's all I watch is all them old shows. There ain't shit on TV now that I fucking watch that's, new.
But would you watch it if they replaced Gloria with a fake Gloria?
Nah. You know me, man. I'm fucking old school.
If it's not the original Meathead, it's not really Archie Bunker.
Yeah. Whatever. It's just, I don't know. It's just, when I see that shit and then hear all the stuff, what they, with the Roseanne thing and all the other bullshit going on, it's like, fuck this shit. I'll watch the old shit where it was, when I grew up, me. I'm fucking old school and can't get out of the fucking 70s.
Yeah, we know that Edith had a major-sized bush.
Yeah, well, that I don't know, but probably.
Oh, Archie! Don't get lost in my thick black thatch!
Right.
Oh, Archie, eat my cooter!
All right, boys, that's all I got.
All right, Jackal.
Hail and kill. Fuck you, pal. Hand job and fuck there.
So there goes Jackal. He watches the old school stuff.
Gee, that's shocking. Just see fucking Jackal's DVR full of fucking Barney Miller, Sanford and Son, and All in the Family reruns. Won't even watch Archie's Place because that was way too new.
Yeah.
Or Sanford. What was the one? Wasn't that what Sanford's son? The next one was.
Yeah,
Sanford?
I think it was just called Sanford.
Was him and that big dude? That
Yeah,
big fat guy. Whatever that guy's name was, he died too. I think. Barney Miller.
All right. Well, here's our good friend Rageaholic, Razor Fist.
All right.
Razor Fist ranting about Louis C.K. and the killing of comedy
All right.
due to political correctness.
Okay.
So, unless you've been living under the only rock Charlie Sheen hasn't smoked, you may have heard a little ditty about stand-up comedian cum sitcom star extraordinaire Louis C.K., namely his statement to the blindingly fucking obvious.
This is a pretty big story trending today. Survivors of the Parkland school shooting coming out swinging at Louis C.K. after the comedian mocked their activism in his routine. Take a listen to this leaked audio from the set performed in December, and we should warn you, it may be offensive.
Oh, it may be offensive.
Strap in, folks. You might want to turn the channel now.
And just to be clear, this was Louis C.K. working out some new material.
Yeah.
But
Even if he wasn't, so what?
Yeah, but I'm just saying that this wasn't like some official release. This was just him ranting at a comedy club, just kind of feeling some stuff out. But of course, because he did this, it was just like, oh my God!
Shocking!
Yeah. And this whole survivor of a shooting. You know, I was out at the football stadium when the shooting was going on inside the school, so I'm a survivor.
Aren't I as much of a survivor as David Hogg? Wasn't he not even there?
Yeah.
He just went to the school
Right.
that day.
I mean, if there was a shooting in town here, because it was like within the confines of my own city, does that make me a survivor?
When my friend Josh was killed up the street and one street over, I guess I'm a survivor of that shooting.
Yeah, you are.
I survived it.
You're a survivor of a police shooting.
I am. Thank God I was safe.
Right. Parkland School survivor.
Shut up.
Now, if you actually took a bullet and then you came out and you lived, you're a survivor. Just because you were in the area when this took place does not make you a survivor.
Yeah, being in the building does not make you a survivor.
No.
You know, I think I've told this story on the air before, but when I worked at a Domino's, it got robbed. And it got robbed at gunpoint. And, you know, the guy put a gun on my face. Does that make me a survivor? He didn't shoot at me. He just threatened and then took the money and ran.
Well, you were a survivor of a robbery, a gunpoint robbery.
I didn't survive anything. I just fucking didn't get shot. There was no fucking gun violence. Yeah, he shouldn't have used a gun to fucking rob the place, but I didn't survive a shooting.
Yeah.
You know, if he would have shot at me and missed, then I'm a survivor. Just standing there holding a weapon, no. And just being in the building, but not being shot at, no. You're not a survivor, you fuck. I'm tired of that. That David Hogg, every time I see his face, I want to punch it.
Right.
I don't know who honestly, he's up there on Obama type level.
He is.
I see his smug fucking grin and just want to cave in his fucking skull. You know, I mean, I never would because I wouldn't give away my life.
You go, survive this, you fucking fag.
Oh, you know, it's what's the old saying? Is you know, the Chris Rock saying, but I understand.
Yeah, I don't condone it, but I understand.
I wouldn't do it, but I understand.
Right. Here we go.
Because you went to a high school where kids got shot? Why does that mean I have to listen to you? How does that make you interesting? You didn't get shot. You pushed some fat kid in the way. And then, now I got to listen to you talking?
That's funny.
Doesn't sound like the crowd was offended.
No.
They're laughing their asses off.
Just because you were in the building when there was a shooting going on, now I got to listen to you talking?
The crowd's laughing their asses off.
Of course they are.
All right.
Ooh, scandalous leaked footage indeed. First off, leaked? How do you leak a public performance exactly? In an age where every woman over the age of a zygote has a cell phone up her slatch, how could anyone credibly call any public recording a goddamn leak? The same.
You're right.
A cell phone upper slatch. That's a good one.
Upper slatch.
Yeah.
A fucking fanboy rebuttal for the record. I'm anything but an adherent. At best, I can merely tolerate the man. To me, if his act were any more pedestrian, he'd have to install a crosswalk on his tongue. But jokes are jokes, jackass. And as I already asserted in my rant entitled Political Correctness, Killer of Comedy, anyone at all who's about to imbibe in killing careers over yuck-yucks can fuck right the fuck off. Comedy persists at the perimeter of discomfiture. Always has, always will. Because whatever we most fear, whatever morbid preoccupation we while away the wee morning hours pondering in mute horror, that's what we most must make light of.
People commit.
So there you go.
He's right.
He is.
That's 100% correct. You know, that's what comedy is. It's the perversion of reality. That's what makes it funny, is when you take reality and you give it a perversion or you bend it or twist it into an almost ironic version of itself. That's what makes things funny, isn't it?
Of course it is.
You know, and that's across the board. And why do we have to now figure out what is a fucking joke and what is not? I hear it should be self-evident. If you're in a comedy club, it's not being stated as fact. That's just a rule. It's not news. It's not factual. It's not biblical in nature. I mean, if you're in a comedy club, the idea is that it's a perversion of an event or events that have happened that you might have heard of or can relate to. What kind of dummy goes into a comedy club and gets offended by anything? Can you imagine what could possibly offend you in a comedy club?
Well, if you go there not expecting to have politically incorrect jokes, you're a fool.
Yeah. But that's not the comedian's fault. That's your fault. Take the fucking self-blame. Because it's not their job to fucking make you feel good. It's their job to tell jokes. Whether they're good or not is the only thing that they can be evaluated on, and even that is subjective.
Sure it is.
You know, I mean, I told you, I went to the comedy club when I went and saw Jason Mewes, and I told you the first two comics were terrible. Now, I had a friend that went that told me that I'm insane because he liked the first two. So, does that make me wrong and him right, or him wrong and me right?
No, he just related more to the comics on a different level than you.
Yeah. Or comedy is subjective. Everybody finds certain things funny and other things not funny. And you know what? I find the Parkland humor funny. Sorry, David Hogg, but I laughed. And I would laugh again. And I'm not a big fan of Louis either as far as his comedy. I don't know. Are you a fan of his?
He's hit and miss. I liked him better on the Louis show.
Yeah, I liked Louis and I loved Lucky Louie.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Lucky Louie.
Lucky Louie with Norton.
Yeah, with Norton. Yeah, that was funny.
And Rick, what's his name? Rick, the stuttering guy.
Yeah,
that guy was fucking a classic.
That was a funny show.
It was a funny show. But some people would watch that and not think it's funny, and that's okay. Comedy is not supposed to be fucking funny for everybody or not funny for everybody. It's supposed to have its own audience. And if you're not part of it, just shut the fuck up. Don't watch it anymore.
Yeah, don't attend the comedy clubs and don't watch it when it's on TV or YouTube or wherever it is.
And most importantly, you don't get to have an opinion when it's presented to you as news. The only opinion anybody should have, and it's rare that I will say that everybody should have one opinion, but in this case, I think everybody should have the same opinion. And that opinion is, why is this on my fucking news? That some guy said something shaky on at a comedy show. That's not news. It's just not. The real outrage should be sending a letter to this fucking news station saying, that's not news. Get back to reporting on the fucking potholes on my street, you fucks. Right?
I agree.
I mean, that's more news than somebody said something that someone found offensive somewhere. It's so stupid.
I know.
Suicide people go, I don't understand why. And I go, you don't? Well, you live in a cotton candy house or something? What the fuck? You don't know about life? How it only disappoints and gets worse and worse until it ends in a catastrophe? What the fuck?
This is the commercial. It goes, 1 in 4 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer this year. But prostate cancer affects you too, ladies. It does? We can't even fucking have that to ourselves? How does prostate cancer affect women? I mean, unless you're Caitlyn or Hillary. How the hell does that...
Nick DiPaolo is hysterical.
That is funny.
Yeah. Caitlyn or Hillary.
And what they're saying is, they go on in the commercial to explain if a guy has prostate cancer, his wife or girlfriend's sexual needs aren't going to get met. That may or may not be true, but ladies, you think you could put your pussy aside for 5 minutes while I'm fighting for my life and I'm shitting blood and my hair's falling out in the sink? You think you could do that, you selfish little feminist whores? Could you do that for me, please? You wouldn't hear the opposite commercial, would you? You wouldn't hear, 1 in 4 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer this year. But you know what? Breast cancer affects you too, fellas. You can't give your girlfriend a pearl necklace if she has one tit now, can you?
But what few acknowledge, even in defense of Louis C.K.'s comments, is that the effect is appreciable. In short, the more you shut us up with media furor firings, public unpersoning, and all manner of mob rule retardation, the farther to the edge the line of comedy goes. Like moss on the cool side of the rock or diabetes sores on Movie Bob's butthole, everything grows in its ideal environment. And comedy is fueled by fucking discomfort. Not necessarily edginess, mind you. Bob Newhart is one of the greatest of all time, and he couldn't make a rosacea victim blush. But his act does thrive on discomfort, as he brilliantly segues from one fumbling aside to the next, testing the limits of the audience's patience before blowing their skull clean off their shoulders with the one-liner of the century. Bottom line, a comedian with any clout is gonna find that frayed nerve and dance the lambada on that bitch. So comprehend the profound idiocy of playing PC police with, of all things, stand-up comedy. Look, you ain't gonna kill it. You can't. Comedy is intrinsic to society's existence, if not fucking humanity's. It'll outlive every rainbow-coiffed cunt in Canadianistan, and the harder you push, the farther to the edge of basic decency and taste the line gets. Fuck! In the mid-90s, I used to love a good Yo Mama joke. Fast forward to 2019, I can't even crack a smile without a corpse involved. And it ain't just me. Roughly half of the country is asking us to make policy decisions based on the opinions of high schoolers, for fuck's sake. Yeah, he peeped this, Pops. The same simpering shitdick who finds Taylor Swift and Greta Van Fleet fucking tolerable has an empirical prescription for all of society's ills. Shit, I'll be sure to perk a deaf ear to that dog shit. I mean, at least pretend to be honest for a beat fucking moonbeam. Tuck the outrage and indignation away in your Lisa Frank Trapper Keeper there, princess, and assess it objectively if at all possible. I mean, we're getting firearm ban advice from Daria and the fucking Breakfast Club, and you're telling me there's no objectively comedic vein there? Nothing the vast majority of middle America might find the faintest bit gut-bustingly fucking hilarious? If being a victim of a crime automatically made you an expert on avoiding it, then how are there 6 fucking Transformers films? On the more encouraging front, he hasn't even given in yet to the spittle-fleck fuckwits wielding the torches. At least not yet. To me, Louie's never been the same since the CK was bracketing a U and a C, and I'm under no illusion he won't fire back 50 times as hard on the opposite side of the aisle to score brownie points with the Politburo. But I'll defend to my death his right to be utterly mediocre, because school shooting jokes are like school shooting victims. They never get old. I'm Razor Fist. God fucking speed.
Like, now, see, that joke was offensive.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
I'm very offended. The laughter is to cover the crying inside that I'm doing.
Of course. What happened to our country?
Barack Obama, my friend.
Yeah.
Just fucking open the floodgates to pussification of everything. And boy, did it fucking run through. It ran through on its way to getting a fucking now legal marriage license. Bunch of fucking pussies.